or days, whatever it was. Great. By the way, here's the kicker. I'll be back in a few days to give you a list of the open houses, what works for you, day or night. Do you know what he just did? He set an appointment up, and he said he was coming back with what? Something to give them of information. And guess what? Every time they would say, oh, the evening works. They wanted to know when the open houses were. Why? Because it's gossip of what's going on. They needed to know, and they already thought he was a friend. He was already telling them, if something's unusual, please give me a call. They've got his card. Great, I'll be back in a few days. The days would pass, now his second visit. The second visit is the open house schedule. Okay, so he'd come back and he would say, knock, knock, knock. Just as I promised, always started with just as I promised, because he was a man of his word. Here is the open house schedule. Folks, he would say, there are three open houses. He goes, but let me explain how it works. The first one right here is for the neighbors only. I'll be having refreshments, so come and see how we got the house ready for the open house. By the way, if you know of any of your friends who are looking for a home in this neighborhood, it's a good time for you to invite them to come see the house. Now what do you do? Invited them to come eat, which most people would go. Number two, go get me your friends who want to buy in this neighborhood. So you go do me the work and find me the buyer. Correct? He's already got them working for him. The second one, this is the broker's open house. We're going to have all the real estate all the real estate associates coming through. So if you have dogs or cats and small children, make sure they're in the house. You know how we get distracted when we're driving through. You'd even make fun of it, because back then there was phones that looked like bricks. It's true, they would drive around their diesel Mercedes with big old phones. Ha ha ha, great. The third one is for the public. Don't bother coming. What did he just do? Uninvite them. He didn't want them messing up the spiel by saying, gosh, you see how many cars get broken into in this neighborhood. Or, oh my God, there was a shooting 4 blocks away. We've never had a shooting around here. He didn't want them to share in with whatever the public was coming in from. Nor did he want to entertain them because they think that he's their friend. He wanted to focus in on who was coming through the open house. So don't bother coming. After the open house, I will come by and tell you how it went. Now, did they believe it? Yes, because he had already come back once with the list of the open houses. Third visit. You ready? Successful open house. Write that down. Successful open house. Now, his job in his third one was to tell them how successful it was and what buyers were looking for. So he would say, let me tell you how successful it was. He never lied to them. He would always tell them what they said. They loved the neighborhood. They wanted to be closer to the school. Some were looking for a pool in the background. Some wanted a bigger lot. Some were hoping to be closer to the end of the street. Some wanted a couple blocks from here because that's closer to whatever. He'd tell them exactly what was going on. And now the sellers are starting to think, well, I got a pool. My house is a little larger. Can you come in? A lot of the times he got invited in right afterwards so that they could see the difference between that house and the house he's selling. So now they're starting to think, hey, if there's buyers out there, I might want to sell. And occasionally he'd get my friend Mary, who lives 3 blocks from here. I let her know what a great job you were doing. Let's go see Mary. You can introduce me to her. What did he just do? Get invited to a friend's house so that he can meet them. Now these people around the house were already selling for him. He would have a 4th visit, which you won't have anymore. Okay, so I'm going to cut it out for you. His 4th visit would be, I'll be back in a few weeks to let you know if we have to do a price reduction. Because that's typically what happened in that market, correct? That would be your 4th. You're going to cut it on your 3rd. By the way, I wanted to let you know that I've gone green. Everybody wrote that down? I've gone green. I don't do flyers all the time to let you know if we've made any changes to the price of the home. But I do have access to a system called Listing Book that will allow you to keep track of any changes we do on the home. By the way, you can also see the value of your home if you like. I can set that up so that you can always see the value of your home. All I need from you is your email, and we'll set you up today. Do you not love it? Because they love gossip. They want to know what the neighbor's selling for. They want to know what the price is. And now you started to farm where your listing is. And if you do it correctly, you will find that they will give you leads to other listings. And it worked. He would get 2 to 3 listings from every listing. And he just rotated. And sometimes he didn't even want the buyers. He just wanted to refer them out. And it works. So that's one. Now we told you how to market around a property for listings. What do we do with the buyers that come in for listing book? Let's talk about that. It's real important that we're prepared when they walk in the door. How do we keep them in? Brian Tracy, I don't know if you've ever heard him as a speaker, but he's a great speaker who talks about how to hold people's attention when they're coming through open houses. So we're going to take a little bit of his techniques and kind of rub it in and then mix it up with a little bit of what they use for new homes and show you guys how to do it. May I borrow that piece of paper there?
I'll give you.
I'm not going to, just for a second. Now, in model homes, there's something that they use around the house all the time. Do you guys know what they were called? Tent cards. Do you know why they put tent cards around the house? Because the longer you engage in the house, the more you want it. So they put tent cards all over in brand new homes telling you, oh, cabinets, what kind of carpet it has, what the bathtub does, what the wall was painted with. Am I correct? Because they want you to engage. Now, a great way for you to get people when they're walking in the door is to actually set up a table, set your tent card right on the table, and your tent card's going to read in the largest letters that you have, per seller's request, please sign in. Per seller's request, please sign in. Now, you're the real estate agent who's asked them to sign in. You guys all know how that goes. Sometimes they look at you like, oh no, we're just looking real quick. They don't want to do it. But if they notice that the sellers asked them to do it, guess what they'll do? It's my permission in. It's my way of getting in. All right, I'll do it. Now, here's a better way to get their information. You create individual cards that are this size. It's a 5 by 8.5. 5 by 8.5. And on the card, you'll have first name, last name, email, and at the bottom of there, write nice, size letters. This will give you access to a listing book account, which will let you keep track of this home or any homes in the neighborhood. And only one card per person. Does that make sense? People are quicker to fill out one card because they know that they're not in a bundle and that everybody else can see their information. Then they'll know that you flipped it over and that you're not sharing that with anyone else. Okay? What was that?
It was just in the background noise there.
So you want to make sure that you fill out those cards. They're really easy to do. You can do page setup on Word to do the tent cards. On Word, you drop the margin halfway and you start with the largest letters. I think it's the 38 that'll fit per seller's request. As a title rep, I used to provide them for my clients. But there you go. That's what the tent card would do. It serves its purpose. And make sure that you do your individual sign-in cards. And on the back, my suggestion would be write the address that you held the open house and the date that you held the open house so that you can put that in their notes and listing book so that you know where you met them. Okay? Now that's a great way for you to collect names at an open house. Now all of the names that you collected in an open house should be put under prospect. Under prospect. Unless they tell you, you're the person we want to work with. We've got a lender. Here's the lender's information. Can you show us property tomorrow? Then they go straight into the client list. Okay. Anybody get buyers like that right nowadays? No? Yes? Maybe? Now, any questions about open houses? We're short on inventory. You guys know that, right? So it's a great time to also create your little postcards telling people we are short on inventory. There are buyers out there. They're looking for homes that are conventional sellers. And then on the back, you can show some of the statistics that newspapers have and let them know that they can go into listing book and actually see what their home is worth. It's a great way for you to go out and farm to those people and to talk about that. And they say 53% of our buyer market is first-time buyers, correct? You guys are right across the mall. Well, not maybe you guys. Hi. That camera really throws me off. It's a great place for you guys to put one of those. Remember we used to do those things, those little kiosks, and get people to sign in so that they can search for their home and get their listing book account. A great way to do it. A couple of those kiosks in small shopping centers. They work. It's a great way to dole out the referrals. Remember the guy with 34,000 names? He has a referral business now. He no longer sells real estate